Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer one of the Java interview questions. That is, what is a keyword used to inherit the variables and methods of another Java class? Let me answer this question with practical demonstration. So in Java, if you want to inherit the variables and methods of another class into your class, for your class, you have to mention extends keyword. Your class followed by the extends keyword, followed by the another class from where you want to inherit the variables and methods. In such kind of cases, your class will become the child class, and the other class from where you are inheriting the variables and methods, right? That will become the parent class. So using the extends keyword is the answer for this question. What is the keyword? The simple and straightforward answer for this question is extends keyword. Let me practically demonstrate this for you guys. For that, I'll switch to Eclipse IDE here. Let's wait for the Eclipse IDE to launch. So the Eclipse IDE has been launched, guys. I'll create a new package here. I'll just name this package as, let's say, inheritance pack. Okay. Inside the inheritance pack, I'll create a class. I'll just name this class as animal class, guys. Okay. Click on finish. And inside this animal class, I'll create some variables and methods. String, name of the animal, string, type of the animal, let's say, okay, string type of the animal. Then public void, animal, each system.out.println here, let's assume system.out.println, okay, system.out.println. I'll say animal is eating, okay, animal is eating. Similarly, I'll create one more method like public void sleep. Animal is sleeping. Okay. Animal is sleeping. Like this, I'll create some variables and methods inside the animal class, guys, and I'll create another class. Let's say demo class. And inside this demo class, or otherwise not demo class, guys, I'll create another class. Let's create a class, let's say value, a good class. Okay. If you are talking about animal and if you want to inherit these properties of this animal class into another class, the name of the class should be good, right? For example, I can give the class name as, let's say, dog. Okay, dog as a class name. And what I will do here is I'll make this particular dog class inherit the members of this animal class, for which keyword I have to use is the question. The keyword is nothing but the extends keyword, guys. Here after the dog class, write extends keyword and type animal here. Type animal here, guys. And after that, you see. So here I'll create a method public void sample method I'll create. Since this particular variables and methods of this particular class are inherited by the dog class, can directly access them here. Name is equal to, okay, name is equal to Tommy. Okay, let's say name is equal to Tommy. I can access, you see, I can inherit the properties. I don't have to create the name variable here again. This particular name is coming from the parent class known as animal class. Here dog has become the child class of the animal class. And since the dog class using the extends keyword is inheriting the properties of the animal class, all the properties of the animal class, that is members of the animal class, that is variables and methods, can be accessed here directly. So here type is equal to any Pomelian or something. Okay, Malian. I don't have much knowledge, guys. I'll just give some names. That's okay. And just call the eat method. You can directly call the eat method here, and you can directly call the sleep method. You don't even have to create an object, guys. Just making this particular class a child class of another class. All the properties of this particular parent class, this animal will become a parent class, dog will become the child class using the extends keyword. And the child class can access all the properties of the parent class without even the need for creating the object. Directly you can access like this. Okay. So this is a way to inherit the properties of the another class, that is variables and members of the another class in Java, guys, using the keyword known as extends keyword. So you can take a screenshot of this code, guys. If you want, you can take the screenshot of this code and practice this particular example in your machine so that you will become confident in answering this particular question. So with practical demonstration and theoretical explanation, we answer this question for you. So that's all for this session. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello all. Welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer one of the Java interview questions. That is, what is overriding in Java? Let me answer this question with practical demonstration. So let's get started. So what is overriding? So overriding is a concept in Java, okay, where a method in the child class, we can also call the child class as a subclass, has the same name, return type, and the number of parameters and the type of parameters as a method that is there in its parent or superclass. Okay, so assume that there are two classes. Okay, as part of the inheritance, one class is inheriting the members of the another class. Okay, so here we have a parent class and also a child class. When a child class is inheriting the members of the parent class, and in the child class, if you are creating a particular method having the same name, okay, the same name of the method in the parent class, has the same return type and has the same number of parameters and type of parameters, in such cases the method that is there, okay, duplicate method that is there in the child class, which is actually is overriding the same method in the parent class having the same name, same return type, same parameters and parameter types. Okay, this is what is called as overriding concept in Java, guys. Okay, let me explain this in a practical way. Let me practically demonstrate this for you so that you will be able to understand the answer for this overriding concept in a better way. Okay, for that I'll switch to Eclipse IDE, guys, and here I'll create a package. I'll just name this package as overriding pack. Okay, like this I'll create a sample package, and here under this I'll create two classes, guys. One of the class is going to be a parent class and other class is going to be a a child class. Let me create a parent class known as animal class. Let's say animal class. Okay, click on finish. Inside the animal class, this is not at a parent class, guys. It's a normal class only I created for now. Until I implement the inheritance concept using the extends keyword for the child class, this particular thing will not become a parent. It's a normal class, public class, classmate. Okay, but I'm going to in the coming times, I'm going to make this particular class as a parent class. Okay, so before that, let's create some method, guys. Let's create a method public void each. Here inside the eat method, I'm going to write the code. Inside the eat method, I'm going to write the code system.out.println animal is eating. Okay, like this I'll write a code. Now I'll create one more class, guys. I'll create one more class known as dog class. Okay, I'll make this as a dog class, and I will make this particular dog class a child class of the animal class. For that, after the dog class name, I'll use a keyword known as extends keyword followed by the name of the parent class, that is the class that I want to make it parent, that is animal. Okay, now the moment I write extends animal, right, dog class becomes the child class of the animal class and animal class becomes the parent class of the dog class. You can also call the dog class as a subclass, animal class as a super class. Okay, either parent or super class, child or subclass. Okay, fine. Like this, some different terminologies are there. That's okay. Now you see all the members of the parent class are now inherited by the dog class. So this particular eat method is also inherited by the dog class, even though there is no eat method in the dog class. What if I create one more class here? I'll just, for running the code, I'll create this class with demo name, and with main method I'll create, and here I'll drag it this side. So guys, if I create this demo class with the main method, etc. Okay, now if I create an object for the dog class, let's say dog is equal to new dog. Okay, dog is equal to new dog, and using this object reference, can I call this eat method? But eat method is there in the parent class. Eat method is not there. Okay, eat method is, even though eat method is not there in the dog class, but it is inherited from its parent class. All the members of the parent class animal will be inherited by its child classes like dog class. So even though there is no particular method created in the dog class, even though I create an object for the dog class, using the object reference of the dog class, I can call the eat method. Okay, now run the code. What will happen? The method that is inherited by the dog class from the parent class, that is eat method, will be executed and animal is eating. Okay, this particular method got inherited by the dog class and got run, and we got the output also here. Okay, animal is eating got there. So this all fine until and unless you create one more method inside the dog class with the same name of the parent class method, that is public void. The return type should be same, guys. Okay, let's say the return type also is same, public void. Here void is there, here also void is there. The name of the method is also same, and the number of parameters are 0 here, Here also the number of parameters are 0. Like this, same as it is. The name should match, the return type should match, and the parameters, number of parameters and the type of parameters when they match, right? Exactly ditto, same to same method if you create in the child class. And here I'll write down system.out.println, dog is eating, I'll write. Now, this particular method is said to override this particular method in the parent class. The method in the child class, which is having the same name, same return type, and the same number of parameters and the type of parameters, is said to override the same method in the parent class. To confirm whether this particular method is really overriding the particular method in the parent class, just as per checking whether it is really overriding or not. Okay, it's not compulsory to write this annotation. Override annotation I'll write. Even after writing the override annotation before this particular method, if you are not getting any compiler error here, that means this is a confirmation that this particular method in the child class is exactly overriding, perfectly overriding the particular method in the parent class. Okay. But in some cases, what happens when you write override, you will get a compiler error saying that this particular method is not overriding the method in the parent class. This is an optional thing, guys, just to cross check whether whatever the method that you have created in the child class is really overriding or not. To confirm that, you can write this annotation, but you can remove also, not a problem. But this time, if I run this code, when I create an object for the dog class and say dog.eat, whether the method that is inherited from the parent class to the child class will be called by this dog.eat, or whether the method that is overriding this particular method, okay, the method of the child class which is overriding the method of the parent class will be called. When I create an object for the child class and using the object reference, if I call the eat method is not only there in the parent class, but also there in the child class now. So this one is getting inherited into the child class, whereas this one is overriding this particular inherited method of the parent class. So which method Java will choose? There is an ambiguity, right? Whether here using this object reference, whether the parent class inherited method by the dog class should be called, or the dog class its own method, which is actually overriding the method in the parent class, should be called. The answer is the dog class method, which is overriding the method of the parent class, should be called. Okay. If I run this code, dog is eating will be printed instead of animal is printing. That proves that the method which is overriding the method in the parent class is being called. Okay. Dog is eating is coming. Earlier we got animal is eating. So this is what is overriding, guys, is if you have a exact method having the same name, same return type, and the same number of parameters and the type of parameters in the child class, which is a exact copy of the parent class method, then the method that is there in the child class is said to override the method in the parent class. This is what is called as overriding, guys. Okay, this is what is called as overriding in Java, and especially you can call this as method overriding in Java. Okay. This overriding concept is now applied to the method, so it's called as method overriding. In this example, it is method overloading. Constructor overloading, constructor overriding is not possible. Why? Constructor overriding, why it is not possible? If I have to create a constructor in the parent class, the constructor will not have any return type, and the name of the constructor should match with the name of the class. If I write like this, and here, if I have to create a constructor in the child class, and it will not have return type, and the name of the constructor should match with the name of the class. So here dog constructor will be there, here animal constructor is there. Can a dog constructor override the parent constructor animal? Since it has a different name from the parent class and there is no possibility of providing animal here, okay, because animal is the parent. In this particular class, I have to give the name of the constructor as dog only, okay? So a dog constructor cannot override a constructor having a different name. Hence, constructor overriding is not possible in Java, but method overriding is only possible in Java, guys. So whenever you get a question like this, very simple question, apart from giving the explanation and all, right, if you give extra additional points, to impress the interviewer, that will be always great, guys. Explain with practical demonstration, explain the theoretical part, and also explain the possibilities of the method overriding and not construct, and also mention that constructor overriding is not possible. Don't give simple answers, okay? Try to give some good explanation so that the constructor will get an understanding that this particular guy has good knowledge on Java, okay? So that's all for this session, guys. Okay, with practical demonstration, I explained this question for you. So you can take a screenshot of this code, guys. If you want to practice in your machine, you can take the screenshot of this code. So hope that you have taken the screenshot of this code. So with practical demonstration and theoretical explanation, I've answered this question for you. So that's all for this session. Thank you. Bye-bye. Welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer one of the Java interview questions. That is overriding applicable for constructors in Java? Let me answer this question with practical demonstration. The answer is no, guys. Overriding concept in Java is applicable only for methods, but for constructors, it is not applicable. Okay. So what exactly is overriding, first of all? Overriding is one of the concepts in Java or object-oriented concepts in Java, which come under the polymorphism category. In polymorphism, we have something like overloading and overriding concept is one of the concept under the polymorphism object-oriented concepts in Java. Okay, fine. Anyhow, so what exactly is this overriding concept then? For example, there are two classes. Let's say one of the class out of these two classes is a parent class. Other class out of these two classes is a child class of this parent class. In such situations, when you have a particular method in the parent class and ditto same method if you create in the child class, okay, exactly copy of that particular parent class method you are creating in the child class, which has the same name, same return type, and same number of parameters, and the same type of parameters using which the different parameters are declared in that particular method. Everything is same. When you compare with the parent class method and child class method, exactly same copy, let's say. In that case, the method that is a duplicate copy of the method in the parent class in terms of the name, return type, and parameters is called overridden method. That particular method is said to override the method in the parent class. Okay, that's what is the overriding concept, guys. Okay, you don't have to know more than that. But can we do the same thing with constructors? Let's say there are two classes. One of the class is a parent class, other class is a child class. Now, if I create a constructor in the parent class and if I created a can I create the similar constructor which is there in the parent class and the child class? Is that possible? Is the overriding of that particular constructor from the child class, okay, is possible? The answer is no, guys, because there is one rule in constructors. Whenever you create a constructor in Java, okay, the name of the constructor should match with the name of the class. If there are two classes, they cannot have the same name, guys, okay? So the constructor in parent class will have parent class own name, whereas the constructor in the child class will have child class name, which will be different anyhow. So there is no possibility of a child class constructor overriding the constructor in the parent class. Let me practically demonstrate this for you so that you will be able to understand the answer for this particular Java question in a better way. For that, I'll switch to Eclipse IDE, guys. Here I'm going to create under the overriding pack. I'm going to create a new package. I'll just name this package as sub package as 3, guys. Okay. Under this, I'm going to create a class, guys, a parent class and child class. I'll create, guys. Okay. Just for sample classes, I'll create and then I'll make them one of them as parent, other one as a child. Here I'm going to create something like animal class. Click on finish. Okay, then I'll create one more class, guys. I'll just name this class as dog class, or here itself I'll create, guys, class dog. Okay, two classes I created, guys. One of the class is animal class name is animal, class name is dog. Now inside this animal class, if I create a method like public, if I don't want to, here I don't have to work with methods, guys. Constructor, if I have to create a constructor public, the constructors will not have any return type. Constructors look similar to methods, but they don't have the return type. Even void we should not mention. After this public space, and I have to give the name of the class as the constructor name. Okay, constructor name should be same as the name of the class. System.out.println animal constructor. Animal constructor. Now, is it possible for us to create the animal constructor in the dog class? That is not possible, guys. You will get an error. This looks like a constructor, and the constructor. Okay, the constructor should have the same name as a class name. This particular constructor, which is in the dog class, should have the name as a dog class rather than the animal. Hence, it is not possible for us to duplicate the constructor in the parent class into its child class. Anyhow, extends animal. Okay, even though you make this particular dog class a child class of the animal class without, it doesn't matter, guys. You cannot create a duplicate constructor of the parent class in its child class. Now, dog class, after I write the extends keyword, after that animal, if I write animal class will become the parent class and dog class will become the child class. Okay, despite of that, no, this particular constructor cannot be overridden here in the child class because constructors in the this dog class has its own names. Okay, the child class dog will have its own name, whereas the constructors in the parent class will have its own name. Hence, it is not possible to duplicate the constructors from the parent class in the child class. Hence, there is no possibility of overriding. Okay, just write here override keyword to confirm. It's not overriding anyhow. Override keyword you write, you will get an error, guys. Okay, annotation is disallowed for this location. It is saying, okay, you cannot provide this annotation here. Okay, maybe before a constructor it not say override and all, because constructors doesn't support overriding concept. Okay, constructor doesn't support overriding concept, so it's not possible, guys. Overriding is not possible with constructors. So here, is overriding applicable for constructors in Java? With this example, you can clearly see that. Okay, you can clearly see that overriding is not possible with constructors. Only method overriding is possible, but constructor overriding is not possible, because the name of the constructor in a parent class will have its own name, parent class name, whereas the name of the constructor in the child class will have a child class name. Okay, hence there is no possibility of duplicating the name of the constructor in the child class. Hence, overriding of a particular constructor in the Java is not possible. You can actually take a screenshot of this code and practice in your machine, guys, to understand. Okay, hope you have taken the screenshot. So with the theoretical and practical demonstration, I've answered this question for you. So that's all for this session. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer one of the Java interview questions. That is, what are the different modifiers that are available in Java? Let me answer this question first with theoretical explanation followed by practical demonstration. There are different modifiers we have in Java, and before I explain or list down you the list of different modifiers in Java, what exactly are these modifiers in Java? I would like to answer first. What exactly are modifiers in Java? Modifiers can be specified before variables, methods, and classes. On specifying these different types of modifiers before variables, methods, and classes in Java, the original behavior of this particular variables, methods, and classes will get modified. That's why we call them as modifiers. And there are, at a high level, the modifiers can be divided into two types. One is access modifiers. In Java, modifiers at a high level are categorized into two types. One is access modifiers, and other one are non-access modifiers. Non-access modifiers. Okay, non-access modifiers. Coming to the access modifiers, why we call them access modifiers? Because these modifiers, when specified before variables, methods, classes, will modify the access behavior of those things, that is variables, classes, and methods related access related. Okay, behavior will be modified with the help of these access modifiers. Under access modifiers, we have different access modifiers like public, then we have private, then we have protected, and then we have default. These are the four access modifiers we have under the modifiers in Java. And coming to the non-access modifiers, we have around 3 non-access modifiers. Okay, that is static, final, and abstract. Okay, static, final, and abstract. So these are the 3 non-access modifiers we have under the modifiers in Java. Where coming to the access modifiers, we have public, private, protected, and default. Total 7 modifiers are there, guys. 4 modifiers fall into the access modifiers category, and 3 modifiers fall into the non-access modifiers category. So for practical demonstration, I'm not going to explain each and everything for you. That will take a lot of time, guys. Rather, I'll show you how to specify these modifiers before variables, methods, and classes at a high level. Instead of explaining what will happen when I specify public before a class, public before a variable, public before a method, I will not explain such kind of concepts, but I'll show you how to specify these modifiers before the variables, methods, and classes in Java. I'm going to show you at a high level only. So for that, as part of this question, that much explanation is not required, so I'm not doing that. Okay, I'll create a package, guys. I'll just name this package as modifiers pack. And inside this modifiers pack, I'm going to create a class. I'll just name this class as sample class. Click on finish. By default, when I create a class in Eclipse ID in one of the projects in Java, right? By default, which modifier is coming here before the class? Public access modifier is coming. Can I mention it is private? No, guys. You'll get a compiler error saying illegal modifier. illegal modifier. Only public can be specified here or default can be specified. If you don't specify any modifier before a class, that becomes a default modifier. Before a class, only public and default can be accepted. Okay. But other modifiers like private and protected cannot be specified before the classes, guys. When you try to provide private and protected before the classes in Java, you will get illegal modifier kind of error message. Okay, illegal modifier kind of error message you will get. So here, I'll just go to public, guys. I told you how to write the other modifier that is protected before this class. Okay. Now I'm going to write down some variables, guys. Some variables. Int a is equal to 5. So before this particular variable, I can provide public modifier. I can provide private modifier. I can specify the default modifier. If I don't specify any modifier, that is a default modifier. Then can I specify the protected modifier? Yes, you can also specify the protected modifier. Okay, that's fine. Now, what about the other non-access modifiers? Can I specify here? That is static. Static can I specify before a variable? Yes, I can mention static before a variable. Then what about for global variables? You can mention static as the variables which are created outside the methods directly under the class. For them, you can specify the static, but for the variables which are created inside the method public void demo method I'm creating is inside the method. If I create a variable int p is equal to 10 or some kind of variable, here I cannot specify static, guys. Okay, it will give me an error. You see, illegal modifier error. For local variables, static cannot be specified. For global variables which are directly created under the class, you can specify the static non-access modifier. What about final? I can specify. Can I specify final here? Non-access modifier before a variable? Yes. Okay. Then what about the abstract? Abstract cannot be specified before the variables, guys. You see, illegal modifier error will come. Illegal modifier, abstract modifier cannot be specified before the variables. What about the classes, guys? Coming to the non-access modifiers before the classes, can I provide static here? I cannot provide static before a class, guys. Illegal modifier will come. Then what about final? Final I can specify. When I specify final, right? If no error is coming, I can specify final. What about abstract? Abstract I can specify. Both final and abstract and I can specify before the classes, but static non-access modifier I cannot specify before a class. Okay. So variable also I covered, guys. Now coming to the methods, guys. Public can be specified before a method. Private also can be specified before a method. Then protected also can be specified before a method. Okay, then default also can be, if you don't specify any modifier, there's a default can also be specified before a method. Static can be specified before a method. Okay, this is final is for variables and classes, guys, and final also can be specified with methods. We'll stop the overriding. So final also can be specified with the methods, and abstract also can be specified with the methods, but the method should not have the method body, guys. When I specify the abstract modifier, right, the method should not have the method body, and the class that is containing at least one abstract method also should be abstract. Okay, so a lot of topics are there surrounding this different type of modifiers that can be specified before the classes, variables, and methods. And on specifying this different type of access and non-access modifiers before the classes, variables, and methods, right, their original access behavior or non-access type of behavior will get modified. That's why we call them as modifiers, guys. So with practical demonstration and theoretical explanation, I've answered this question for you. This much is enough, guys. What are the different modifiers in Java? Categorized into access modifiers, non-access modifiers, and these are the access modifiers. These are the non-access modifiers. You can answer this list of modifiers, that is access and non-access modifiers, the total 7 modifiers you can answer, right? You're good to go with this answer for this particular question, guys. So that's all for this session. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello all. Welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer one of the Java interview questions. That is, what is the difference between default and protected access modifiers in Java? Let me answer this question with practical demonstration. First of all, what exactly are modifiers in Java? Modifiers are nothing but the keywords, some keywords in Java, guys, and these keywords can be specified before either variables or methods or classes. By specifying this modifier keywords before these variables, methods, and classes, right, the original behavior of these variables, methods, and classes will get modified and they behave differently. Okay, that's why we call them as modifiers, guys. And in Java, the modifiers at a high level can be categorized into two types. One is access modifiers, and other category is non-access modifiers. Okay. Other one is non-access modifiers. Under access modifiers, we'll get public modifier is one of the access modifier. Then we have the private modifier. This is a private modifier. Then we have default modifier and protected modifier. These are the different modifiers, access modifiers in Java. And coming to the non-access modifiers of Java, we have some modifiers like static, final, and abstract. These are the three non-access modifiers. Now the question here is very simple, guys. What is the difference between the default and protected access modifiers? Under the access modifiers category of modifiers, we have public, private, default, protected, right? In that, out of all these four modifiers, what is the difference between this default and protected modifiers? Okay, they almost work same, guys. That's the reason people ask them in the interviews, what is the difference between protected and default, guys? Okay, because default, protected are almost same. Small changes there, okay, because of which the people or interviewers will ask you this particular question in the interviews, okay? So default versus protected, okay? So I'll explain about this default versus protected now. So I'll just explain this with a diagram and all those stuff, okay? Just give me a second. Here, I'll write default modifier. If you use the default modifier, okay, before the variables, methods, and classes, okay? So what does it mean? Within the package, if that accessing is happening within the package, if the accessing of this particular item, which is a class, variable, or method, before which the default modifier is specified, if that particular thing is being accessed within the same package, then default modifier will act like public, guys, okay? Will act like public within the package. What about outside the package? What about outside the package? Within the package, default modifier will act like a public, within the package. What about if you are trying to access a particular variable, method, or a class outside the package? From outside the package, I'll show you practically, guys, don't worry. Outside the package, if you are trying to access a variable, method, or a class which is specified with the default modifier, it will act like private, okay? Private. So this is what the default modifier will work like. What about the other modifier? That is protected modifier. The other comparison I'm doing with the default access modifier with the protected modifier. Coming to the protected access modifier or protected modifier, guys, protected modifier. What is the difference between this default modifier and protected modifier? In the case of the protected modifier, within package, same to same, guys, okay? There's no much difference between the default and protected modifiers in Java. Within package, again, it is public. Outside the package, if you are trying to access the variables, methods, and classes which are specified with this protected modifier. Anyhow, protected cannot be specified before the classes. Variables and methods, you can provide the protected, okay? There's another difference. Anyhow, default modifier can be specified before a class, variable, and method, all the three things. But protected cannot be specified before a class. You will get illegal modifier error if you try to provide protected modifier before a class. So anyhow, that is small difference anyhow. But ultimate difference is that the interviewer is expecting is that within the package, similar to the default access modifier, protected also within the package will act like public. Okay, if you are trying to access the variables and methods which are provided with the protected modifier within the package, it will act like public. The variables and methods specified will act like public. Whereas outside the package, it will act like private. But there is a small class, that is except for child classes. Outside the package, it is public for the child classes, but private for all the remaining classes. Here private, even though it is a child class or it is a normal class, doesn't matter, guys. Outside the package, strictly private. Default modifier is strictly private. But coming to the protected, okay, outside the package, there's small difference between the default modifier and protected modifier, where default is private for all the classes, including the Okay, child classes, whereas protected is only private for the normal classes, but public for the child classes. Okay, for the classes which are inheriting this particular class from a different package having this protected modifier specified variables and methods. Okay, outside the package also it is public for the child classes, but private for the remaining classes which are not child classes. Okay, this is what is the difference that the interviewers will be expecting is. Apart from the small difference I told you, right? A default modifier can be specified. If you want to add more lines, right, you can also mention this, but this should be your second answer. This should not be your first answer. Can be specified before classes, variables, and methods, all of them. Okay, default modifier can be specified before the classes, variables, and methods. But coming to the protected modifier, protected modifier cannot be specified before the class. You'll get illegal modifier. It can only be specified before the variables and methods. Okay, this is what you have to understand, guys. Okay, this is what is the thing that you have to understand. I'll just take a copy of this and put in the notes so that you can refer it later if you want. So cut this part, Control C, and I'll take it here and just paste it here, guys. That's it. The image will come so that you will have a reference of that. Now coming to the practical demonstration, guys. Coming to the practical demonstration of this default and protected modifier, I'm going to cover here. Okay, I'll go to the Java project here, and there is a package already I created as part of the answering previous interview questions, that is modifiers package here. I'll create some packages, guys. I'll just create some packages like sub packages. That's one package. Let's say within the one package, I'll just move all these files, guys. Okay, within the one package. Okay, I'll move all these files. Okay. Now, freshly, I'll create one more package, guys. Previous files I explained as part of the explanation of this package, modifiers, right? I moved it into one package. I'll create multiple packages here. I'll create one more package like this, two package, guys. This is a two package. Okay. Now, in the second package, I'll create a new class. I'll just name this class as. Let's say car class. Okay, some random class like car class I'll create, guys. Now, once I create an object for the car class here, inside the car class, I'll create some variables and methods, guys. Inside this car class, I'll create some variables and methods. I'll create a variable like string, company of the car, and one sample method I'll create like public void start car. Car started will be printed if you call this particular method. Okay, system.out.println car started. Okay, these are the very simple variable and method. For a sample I created, you can create multiple variables and methods, but for this example, I'm going to create only one simple thing. And inside this, I'll create one more class. Let's say this is a demo1 class. Let's say demo1 class with main method so that I can run the code here. Okay. So this demo1 class and car class are part of the same package. If you clearly observe, guys, this demo1 class is part of the two package, whereas car class is also part of the two package. Both the classes you can see here, demo1 car belong to the same two package. Okay, they belong to the same package. In such kind of cases, if I don't specify any modifier here, that becomes a default modifier. Default modifier is not a keyword, guys. Okay, if you don't specify public, private, protected, then automatically, if you don't specify that any modifier here, it becomes default by default. And here, start car is provided with public. I'll remove that, guys. Okay, I'll remove that. Even car class also, before the class also public is there. I'll remove that. If you don't specify any modifier before a class, variable, and method, that becomes the default modifier, guys. Now here inside the main method, if I create an object, car1 is equal to new car. Okay, no problem will come, guys. You can easily create an object for this car class because default modifier acts like public within the package. Since the demo1 class is also part of the same package, okay, we are not getting any errors. Okay, now write down, guys, car1 dot company. I can access the company also. This company variable also I'm accessing because this is a default access modifier. If you don't specify any modifier, it is a default modifier and it acts like public within the package. So this is within the package, so it acts like, Honda is a company. Let's say, you see, you'll not get any error. Here start car also can call directly here car1 dot start car. I'll say, you see, you're able to access it, no problem at all, because within the package default access modifier, specified class, variable, and method will act like public. But what if I create one more package? I'll create one more package, guys. I'll just name this package as .3 here. okay, which is a different package. In this, if I create one more class like demo2 class with a main method, if I create, click on finish, I'll close this demo1, and in place of the demo1, I'm going to open the demo2 here. And for now, we got the demo2 class, but demo2 class belongs to a different package, that is 3 package, whereas car class belongs to a different package known as 2 package. Still, if I want to access this class variables and methods here, is it possible? No, guys, it's not possible. If you try to create an object for the car class here, car is equal to new car, okay, car is equal to new car. If I say, okay, hover the mouse on this, okay, from this package I have to import, guys. I have to import this particular from a different package, right? Car class belongs to a different package. I would like to import that. Import this package name. You give the package name, okay. If you are trying to access a particular class outside a package, right, you generally have to import it from the respective package. And here I have to give the car, for which you are already getting the error because change visibility of the car to public. It's kind of default here. You cannot access, okay. Default modifier specified classes, variables, and methods will act like what, guys? Outside the package, they will act like public. Sorry, they'll act like private. So hence, you are unable to create the object, unable to import this car class outside the package, and unable to create the object. You are getting the errors. Even after importing, also it's not working. Means cannot access this because it's default type. Again, if I make it public, right? You see, the errors will be gone. The errors will be gone. You see, the import statement error gone, and you are able to create the object, guys, for the car class from this 2 package because now it is public. But if I change it back to default, right, you cannot access. Okay, I'm making it public because I want to try this variables and methods, guys, without creating an object for the car class. How can I try to access these variables and methods in the class? If it is default class, no way of creating the object also. But assume that this particular class inside which this particular default variables and methods are there. If you want to still access, car dot company is not coming. Okay, this will give you the error because default will act like private outside the package. Since this particular demo2 class is outside a different package of the package in which this variables and methods class is there, you see, you'll not be able to access this. Okay, similarly, car dot start car also you cannot access. You cannot call this method also. You'll get the errors. Okay, because they are specified with the default modifier. This is not at all possible, guys. It's not at all possible. Okay, in Java. Fine. Now the other thing is that what if I'll just close all this stuff, guys. I'll close all this stuff. Now what I will do is I'll again go to the car class, guys. I'll make this protected here. As I told you, right, protected modifier cannot be specified before a class. Protected modifier will become an illegal modifier. You cannot default modifier, which is no keyword, we can specify before a class, but protected we cannot specify, private we cannot specify. So I'll just stick it to public because anyhow protected is not going to, cannot be specified before the class. What about the variables and methods? Here, protected can be specified before a variable and protected also can be specified before a method. Okay. Thing is that protected also will do the same thing, guys. Within the package, it will act like public, but outside the package, it will act like private, except for the child classes. That you have to see the difference. Okay. So now, once I make this particular variables and methods as protected, and the car class cannot be protected because it becomes an illegal modifier. Now I'll open the demo one, and here in this case, if I try to create an object for the car class, no issues, guys. You see, you are able to access this one. Okay. There are no errors coming when you create an object for the car class because it's public, guys. Protected cannot be specified, public can be accessed. What about the variables and methods? They are specified with the protected modifier, but still you are able to access within the package. Demo one belongs to the same package and car class belongs to the same package. Hence, protected will act like public within the package. But if I open the demo2.java, since this particular car is a since this particular car is a public, you can access it. Okay, I can show you. Okay, you can create an object, guys, without import statement. I'll show you. But this particular class is outside the package, so we have to import the car class from that particular package. You want to use the variables and methods of car one is equal to new car. I'll write. You can create an object, guys. You'll get an error, but this is not the error that you are thinking. It's asking you to import this car class from the respective package. From outside the package, if the car class belongs to, you have to import this particular modifier pack dot to multiple places in this project, right? Car class is there. I'm going to import it from the respective to package. Okay, modifier pack dot to dot car. Once you do that, right, you say car class is accessible because it's public. You can access anyhow. It's not protected. You cannot provide protected before the class. Now the package name is different, guys. The package name in which demo2 is available is 3, and the package name in which the car class is available is 2. Different package. In such kind of cases, protected will act like what? Protected will act like private, guys. Okay, here if you say car dot company, it will not come. Company is equal to, if I give Honda, it will not come, guys. It will give you an error because protected will act like private outside the package. Okay, outside the package. Here, similarly, car1 dot, what is the other one, guys? Car1 dot start car. Start car. You try to call the method. Here also you'll get the error, guys. You'll also get the error. I'll do one thing, guys. I'll just comment all this stuff. I'll comment all this stuff, guys. And what I will do here is instead, I told you, right? For default modifier outside the package, whether it is a child class or normal class, it is completely straightforwardly strictly private. But coming to the protected, it has a small loophole here. That is a small possibility is there to access the variables and methods of protected type outside the package. That is, this particular class where you're trying to access protected variables and methods of another class in outside the package. Okay, that particular class should be the child class of that particular class. Okay, so here what I will do is I'll make this particular, okay, I'll make this demo2 extends car class. I'll make the demo2 extends car class. Import statement is already there, so otherwise you'll get error here. You have to do the import here of the proper class that you want to import. Okay, extend. Now create a normal method, guys. Public void sample method I'm creating. Public void sample method I'm creating, and let's see whether I'm able to access this protected variables and methods outside the package, even though they are mentioned with protected modifier, and access them outside the package. Outside the package, by default, they will behave like private, but this is a child class, so it should be a different thing. Okay, so here I'll simply write down company is equal to, okay, inheritance means what? The child class will inherit the properties of the parent class. So here company is equal to, I don't have to create an object here, guys. Directly say company is equal to Honda and directly call the start car method. You see, I'm able to access in child classes. Okay, but for default, it is not possible, guys. You may think that this child class concept may be applied for default. I removed that protected here and made it default. Now click on save button, save all button. You see errors are coming. This is not possible. Even for child classes, default is not possible. Default will act like private. Okay, you cannot use this variables and methods of this particular class outside the package for default. But if I make it protected, there is a small thing, that small room that where you can access them. If that particular class is a child class of this particular class outside the package, you can still access them, guys. Okay, protected will act like public if that particular thing is a child class. If it is not a child class, it will act like private, guys. Okay, so this is a small difference that you have to explain, guys. This is a small difference you have to explain. Okay, in the interviews, whatever the diagram I shared you, right, that is the ultimatum, guys. This is a diagram you have to, okay, draw and explain if required, or explain in a verbal format, no problem. Okay, within the package, default will act like public. Outside the package will act like private, irrespective of whether that particular class is outside the package or child classes or normal classes. Okay, but coming to the protected, within the package, similar to default, it is public, but outside the package, it's private except for the child class. Okay, here except for child classes option is not there. And other one is like default modifier can be specified before classes, variables, and methods, whereas protected modifier can be specified only before the variables and methods, but not before the classes. If you try to specify the protected modifier before a class, you'll get illegal modifier error. Okay, like this, you have to answer this question so that the interviewer will come to know that you have very good clarity on this concept of modifiers. Okay, so theoretical explanation with theoretical explanation and practical demonstration. I've answered this question for you. Hope you have liked the answer for this question. So that's all for this session. Thank you. Bye bye.